Chair now recognizes the gentlewoman from Missouri, Ms. Hartzler, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor the extraordinary heroism of Chad Robichaud and Staff Sergeant Dennis Price during the Afghanistan evacuation last year. Their selfless actions evacuating tens of thousands of Afghan interpreters and their families, vulnerable women and children, persecuted Christians, and American citizens represents the highest levels of patriotism. I met Chad through his work supporting our nation's veterans as the founder of the Mighty Oaks Foundation, a leading nonprofit serving the military, veteran, and first responder communities around the world. Through faith-based combat trauma and resiliency programs, Chad has been instrumental in ensuring our brave warriors are supported when they return home from the battlefield. Chad's work doesn't stop there. He's also the co-founder of Save Our Allies, a nonprofit focused on the evacuation and recovery of Americans, our allies, and the most vulnerable people trapped in Afghanistan. Save Our Allies began as a personal quest for Chad as he set out to rescue his long-time friend and Afghan interpreter. However, the mission quickly evolved because of Chad's compassion for all people and his servant's heart. While the U.S. military held the Kabul airport in Afghanistan, the Save Our Allies Task Force successfully extracted approximately 17,000 evacuees in a period of 10 days. Despite these courageous efforts, a report from the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff estimated over 142,000 vulnerable Afghans remained in the country following the exit from Kabul. With the complete takeover of Afghanistan by the Taliban, the report projected 20 million women will be vulnerable to sexual abuse and slavery. Christians would be persecuted and executed. Afghan interpreters and their families would be hunted down and killed. Children would be abused through religious manipulation. And the 1,000-plus Americans left behind would be killed or held hostage for ransom. Understanding the ruthlessness of the Taliban as a former Force Recon Marine, Chad Robichaud knew the rescue mission had to continue. In response, Save Our Allies launched several operations to explore new ways for extractions. Robichaud and his team first identified possible ground evacuations that could be feasible by cross-border movements into Tajikistan and quickly planned a reconnaissance operation. Robichaud hand-selected Staff Sergeant Dennis Price, a Force Recon Marine and Scout Sniper, to take part in the mission. I want to share 2 stories from that mission to highlight their incredible acts of sacrifice, service, and bravery. Early in the mission, Staff Sergeant Price sought a higher vantage point to evaluate a potential river crossing area. Upon his ascent up the mountain, he came under sniper fire 2 separate times, pushing him back to return to the safe house to reconvene with Robichaud and discuss moving forward with the operation. These 2 brave men humbly discussed their families, loved ones, and all that would be left behind should they not make it out of this mission. Still, both men agreed to continue their mission of building safe passage for American and Afghan evacuees. During day 3 of the mission and upon confirmation of a possible river crossing, Staff Sergeant Price found himself 10 feet away from an armed Chinese militant hiding in the bushes, utilizing the vegetation as concealment. Robichaud, using his uncanny observation and combat skills, noticed the looming threat and physically ushered Staff Sergeant Price into a nearby vehicle before he could be captured or killed, ultimately saving his life. Because of this heroic act, the 2 men were able to continue providing real-time information to American intelligence agencies. During their 10-day operation, Robichaud and Price were able to cover 90 miles of border between Afghanistan and Tajikistan, remaining undetected by countless Tajik, Russian, and Chinese military patrols, all while avoiding Taliban-infested areas and checkpoints. These examples, and countless others that cannot be shared due to their sensitive nature, underscore their exemplary efforts undertaken by both Americans behind enemy lines to collect the critical information needed to bring so many to safety. Mr. Speaker, I am humbled to stand before the House to honor their courageous bravery and willingness to sacrifice their lives for their fellow man. The mission that these men completed has saved and will continue to save hundreds and possibly thousands of lives. On behalf of a grateful nation, I would like to express my sincere gratitude. God bless Chad Robichaud and Staff Sergeant Price for their service to our country. I yield back.